A whole lot of people are pretty much thinking the Jets shouldn't even show up for this Thursday night game in Foxboro, Massachusetts. It's just a reminder of the miserable old days, isn't it? Well, we're going to talk about that game tonight, but we're also going to recap the victory against Cleveland, talk about some of the difference makers on this team, some of the challenges the Jets are facing as well, and we're going to get you ready for Thursday night's game, a literally prime time matchup against New England. Guys, you know what's up. It's Wednesday night. It's 6 p.m., and we are live. There's a whole lot of people out there who think that the Jets shouldn't even bother showing up for this game Thursday night in Foxboro when they take on the AFC East leading Patriots. Sort of reminder of the grim old days, isn't it? Well, we're going to talk about that game tonight. We're going to talk about the matchups, where the Patriots are strong, but also where they're weak. And we're going to talk about the Jets, also some of the strengths, some of the things that not a lot of people are overlooking. Maybe some things a few people out there might be dismissing. We're going to get you ready for that game. We're going to talk about the Cleveland victory as well. Give some props, give some love to some people who absolutely deserve it. All that and a whole lot more. 3 and Out. You know what the deal is. It's Wednesday night. It's 6 p.m. and we are live. Well. Welcome, everybody, to New York Sports WickerMedia. I am K99, your party host here for our weekly Wednesday Night Live extravaganza. Glad that you are here to join me for tonight's show. And, of course, got to get this stuff out of the way. If you haven't already, please like the video. Please subscribe to the channel. Share with a friend, a family member, an enemy, some random person on the street, anybody who likes sports, likes America, who might enjoy the content. But anyway, we appreciate you being here as always, and this is always the highlight of the week. Highlight of the channel every week is doing this show. So we're going to get right into this. By the way, if you are here in the comments, I see we got a few people here in the chat. Feel free to drop a comment. If you got any questions on your mind, if you got any thoughts, feel free to share them. Try to make this as open and as fun a forum as we can. And believe me, the show is a whole lot more fun to do when you are here participating right along with me. Okay, let's get right into some stuff that's on my mind. Before we get into the football, let's talk about what's on my mind in a segment that we like to call 3 and Out. So first thing I'm going to talk about is the New York Knicks. This is pretty much what we've been expecting from the orange and blue. By the way, did you see that court last night? That new court, that City Edition court with the old Knicks round ball logo? That is sweet. That's the Knicks logo I grew up on in the 80s and the early 90s. I thought it looked fantastic. Knicks wearing those late 90s City Edition forms with the blue and orange on the side. They were looking sharp, and they were playing sharp against Memphis. They're now 7-3 overall, unbeaten at home, all 7 wins in the Garden. Last week we talked about this 7-game homestand. Now, they played 5 of those games, 5 played, 5 wins. They've got Orlando tonight, and then they've got Miami on Friday. So 2 pretty good teams to finish up that homestand. After that, 5 straight road games, although one of the games is in Brooklyn, so I don't know if we can really classify that as a road game. But the only team in the Eastern Conference with a better record than the Knicks is Detroit. But I look at the difference with this Knicks team last year to this year, and I do see a few things. 2 things I want to mention. They are tied for first with Cleveland, 17 3-pointers made per game. Last year, it felt we were constantly lamenting the Knicks' lack of outside shooting, and that really cost them as the playoffs dragged on. Much, much better this year. Here's another thing. This has got me. I feel like for my entire life, when the Knicks have been good, even when they've been good, there's been one area they've always struggled at: free throw shooting. Those 90s Knicks teams, good as they were, one of the biggest reasons that they failed in the biggest spots is they couldn't hit free throws often enough. This year, they are third. They are making 84.4% of their free throws. Mike Brown's looking like a very worthwhile hire at this point. And now the other team that plays at the Garden, well, they don't exactly have quite the same amount of success at home as the Knicks do. Oh my gosh. But they did rout Nashville, did the New York Rangers 6-3 on Monday. Alexei Lafreniere, who many people want to give up on, looked great, 3 points. Vincent Trocheck returning adds the snarl and the two-way play that they have been sorely missing. And they scored a goal. They scored a goal on the power play. How about that? Oh, my goodness. That has been one of the biggest issues. The Rangers are 30th in the NHL, converting on only 14% of their power plays, although they are ahead of Carolina, which makes me feel better. And tonight they've got the Streaking Lightning in Tampa Bay. Streaking Lightning? See what I did? Okay. But also, hey, New York hockey's looking pretty good. The Islanders beat the Devils 3-2 in overtime on Monday. So both teams looking pretty good. Devils in Chicago tonight. Islanders are going to be in Vegas on Thursday. All right, and then as far as the New York Giants go, well, Brian Daboll out as of Monday morning as head coach. You could have pretty much seen this coming after another late game collapse. 4 double-digit leads blown this season in 4 of their 6 road losses. 2 of those leads blown with under 4 minutes remaining. So Daboll leaves with a record of 20-40-1. And Giant fans seem to be pretty mixed. Some Giant fans, pretty much most of the fan base wanted Daboll out. But the question is, do you fire general manager Joe Shane along with him? I think with most general managers, they're going to have good moves. They're going to have bad moves. It just depends what side of the aisle you fall on. And you can pretty much back up your position with this draft pick, with this free agent. I think Shane deserves to make one head coach hire. I do. Now, I think ideally it is best to have your general manager, head coach, and quarterback on the same timeline. You know what? It's just not always possible. So we'll see what the Giants wind up doing over this off season. All right. So let's go ahead and get rid of that. I want to give a couple of shout outs to a few of you guys here in the chat. All right, Tony Alexio, first in line. Special teams and Brees are the offense. I sense no lies here whatsoever, man. Not at all. Yeah, although if Chris Trevor was in the lineup, you'd have that going for you as well. The great Harlan Abraham, howdy to you as well. Don't forget to hit the like button. We get enough likes, 15 to be exact. We get to spin the wheel. That's right. Yep, so 15 likes. We will spin the wheel tonight. That's just part of it. That's just part of the deal. Maybe I should also make a super chats. We get enough money in super chats. Maybe we'll spin the wheel. I don't know. Just another way to do it. That'd be like the bonus round. I'll tell you what. We do $15 in super chats for a show. We'll do the wheel. Or if we get 15 likes, we'll spin the wheel. We get both. We spin the wheel twice. That's what we're going to do from now on. Just decided. Executive decision made. It is final. All right. So that's another way that we can spin the wheel if you would like to do that. Arlen, the Jets game will be broadcast on Fox Thursday. Well, we know the game's on Prime. Is it going to be on locally? Really? Oh, I would have expected the game would be on locally, like CBS, maybe Channel 11. But is the game going to be on Fox? Well, I don't know. I'll be going out because I don't have Prime where I live. So, the great David D. Big fan of his Jets. Big fan of his Islanders. Good to see you as well, my friend. Hope you're doing great. Hank G. What's up, brother? Hi to you as well. Hope you're having a great week. Hope it's been a happy hump day for you. It's been a pretty crazy week for me for a number of reasons, but hey, we're fighting through it. And you just focus on the good things that you got, and you just keep rolling with it, and just don't let the Jets mess it up too much for you. You kind of just expect a tough game on Thursday. It's always when they fall short of expectations, when it bothers you for just a little bit longer and just a little bit stronger. You know what I'm saying? All right, so let's talk a little bit about the Jets here. We're going to get right into this. Billy SBC already bringing the numbers. Billy, were you watching my preview video? May has been sacked 35 times so far. That's right. I put out the preview video about 2 hours ago. I was able to get home a little bit earlier than normal. Different things going on, but I was able to get home a little bit quicker, record the preview video about 10 minutes long. So that is available. Usually, by the way, if you watch the channel often, you know I do the 5 bold predictions video. That's separate. That will not be the case tonight, guys. I'm going to do my 5 bold predictions and score prediction with you on the show tonight. So we're just going to combine it into one show. And so that was just one decision that I made. Blitz May on every single down. Billy, here's my thought on that. I understand the idea. Sounds okay. But when you've traded Sauce Gardner and you don't have AZ Thomas, is that a risk you want to take? You gotta wonder about that. I don't know. The Jets have a lot of big decisions to make in terms of their game planning for this contest against New England. And you can blitz selectively, but if you blitz all the time, they're going to catch on. Josh McDaniels, say what you want, terrible head coach, but a very good offensive coordinator. And Drake May, he completes passes. So, yeah, I can't blitz him all the time, but you can get creative with your blitzes. So, yeah, so let's put it that way. But you know what? I don't mind doing some crazy blitzing. And yes, we're going to talk about that offensive line for sure. All right. So first thing we got to talk about is the whole idea of tanking. I'm done with it. I'm over it. I want to win games. Okay. Even if it doesn't work out, even if the Jets finish like 10th this year, hey, there's always a chance they can finish first next year. And they can always trade up. Why not? But the problem is, here's the hypocrisy of it, I think, for the most part. I think a lot of the same fans who will say that the Jets should be losing. The Jets should be losing. First of all, you can't tell a player to go out there and to not try. You can't tell them to go out there and suck. You can't do that, okay? I would love those people to go into the locker room and say, hey, don't try. Don't even try. Those people also say that the Jets can't develop and draft anyway. So you can't have it both ways. You know what I'm saying? But let's give you a couple of numbers, a couple stats. I like to break down the offense, the defense, the special teams. I want to give you a number first of all. That number is 1, the loneliest number that you'll ever do. There have been 1 loss by a team since 1950 when they didn't turn the ball over, held an opponent to 175 or fewer yards. And I predicted on the show the Jets would get 200 yards or less of total offense. That's exactly what happened. And the Browns were the first team to lose in that situation. The Jets were the first team to win. Before that, teams have been 2-25-0 with no turnovers and the opponent getting under 175 yards. And the Jets amazingly did it. And I thought this game reflected very well on Aaron Glenn. We've been talking for so long how badly the Jets come out after the bye. The Jets came out ready to play football. It wasn't clean, but they weren't making dumb mistakes. They didn't look ill-prepared. They came out with energy. I liked it. I was happy because remember, after those trades, they could have folded their tents. They could have come out with a little less energy, a little less gumption. That didn't happen, and that gives me some very encouraging signs about Aaron Glenn and his coaching staff. And it's not about the opponent. I know Cleveland's a terrible team. I understand that. But regardless of who your opponent is, I don't care if you're facing Indianapolis, Kansas City, Cleveland, or Tennessee. You're responsible for your own compete level. You're responsible for your own effort. And the Jets showed effort. I'm good with that for this game. Okay, so let's recap this a little bit. Yeah, this is what I like. This is Brees taking it to the house, baby. Right behind Josh Myers after Joe Tippmann threw that amazing block to spring him wide open. Oh, beautiful. But the offense was barely on the field in this game. It took 20 minutes for the Jets to get a first down. By that time, Cleveland already had 11 first downs. It wasn't looking very encouraging, but when you have 2 return touchdowns, that can happen. Now, Tanner Engstrand, the offensive coordinator, I thought it was kind of a mixed bag for him. It took a while for him to turn to Breece Hall, and I know other defenses are keying in on Breece Hall now, especially with Garrett Wilson hurt. But here's the numbers that I think kind of summarize it. The first 27 Jets offensive plays, Breece had 6 touches. Okay, one touch for every 4.5 plays. Final 20 plays the Jets had on offense, he touched the ball 16 times. That's basically roughly what, 22% to 80%. Huge jump. So we need to realize where our bread is buttered. I think the Jets actually use Breece Hall better when Garrett's not on the field. It's weird. It's very, very weird. It's like, okay, Garrett's out. We pretty much have no choice. And speaking of Garrett Wilson, he did not have a catch on three targets before his knee got hurt. Cleveland has a good secondary to begin with. They bracketed him well, and he suffered a knee sprain, and the expectation is he's out 3 to 4 weeks. So, again, same knee that was initially hyperextended. So, again, Justin Fields, thank you very much. I blame Justin Fields completely for that errant throw where Garrett had to reach out, and that hurt his knee. Now, hypothetically, it should give more chances to these other receivers that we just acquired, to A.D. Mitchell, to John Mechie, to Arian Smith, who we drafted. These guys should have opportunities. The problem is Justin Fields is so hesitant to throw the football. I don't know how you can fairly evaluate these receivers. I saw Mason Taylor targeted once, maybe twice. John Mechie touched the ball twice. We'll get into snap counts in a little while. But on his 16 dropbacks, Fields threw 11 passes. I didn't say 11 completions on 16 attempts. I said 11 passes on 16 dropbacks. 54 yards, 42 of which were on that Breece Hall screen. 1 touchdown, 1 interception. I'm sorry, but you have to consider Tyrod Taylor. And I'm no Tyrod Taylor mark, okay? I'm not. But I know this. He's going to take chances. I know he's going to throw the ball downfield. We know what Justin Fields is. We don't know what some of these receivers are. That's what I'm looking to evaluate. And when you have got a quarterback who's holding the ball for 5, 6, is Justin Fields counting 10 Mississippis after the snap before he considers throwing a pass? 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. Here comes Myles Garrett to the left. 3 Mississippi, 4. Mason Graham up the middle. 5 Mississippi. What is he doing? We have seen, as Jet fans, we've seen a lot of quarterbacks who can't throw the ball to save their lives, or their processing isn't right, or the accuracy isn't great, or they don't have the arm strength. I've never seen a quarterback who's downright afraid to throw the frickin' pigskin. My goodness. Watching him is frustrating because I swear he's capable of more. I swear he is. Boy. Oh. Myles Garrett. Let's talk about the offensive line. I want to give some love to this offensive line. Myles Garrett finished this game with 2 pressures, 1 sack, and his pass rush grade on PFF, 58.2. That was his lowest pass rush grade of the season. And check this out. His second lowest single grade over the last 6 years. The last 6 years. This was the second poorest pass rush game that Myles Garrett has had. And the Jets offensive line did it to him. If that doesn't get you feeling good about these tackles, especially, I don't know what else to tell you. Garrett was matched up with Olu Fashanu for 34 of his 42 defensive snaps. Armand Membu, the other 8. Fashanu and Membu combined to allow 1 sack and 2 pressures all day. Joe Tippmann. I listened to different Jet shows over the course of the week, and there are, I don't want to mention names, but there's 1 or 2 guys who just refuse to believe in Joe Tippmann. I don't know. I guess they believe in Joe Hendry, but they don't believe in Joe Tippmann, and I don't understand it. Tippmann led the offensive line. He actually led the entire offense, a 73.6 overall grade. He is settling in beautifully at right guard. Could you imagine next year, Tyler Linderbaum, the Ravens center, is hitting the market? As of now, he's scheduled to be a free agent. Could you imagine if they leave Tippmann at right guard, bring in Linderbaum at center, and then use either AVT or Simpson at left guard between those 2 young tackles? My God, what an offensive line that would be. We have the right to dream. It's only November. So maybe the Jets look to sign a center like Linderbaum or draft a center. It's really worth exploring at this point. And I'm pretty encouraged by what I'm seeing from this offensive line, because Cleveland, they had some pass rushers. Jets did very well. All right. Let's go to a couple comments. We'll get into the defense. Harlan, don't like to see the Jets lose. I want them to win every game they can. Tanking is for losers. Haven't we seen enough losses going back to 2011 at this point, 2012? 1 winning season since then, right? 2015, we had a winning record, still couldn't make the playoffs. We haven't had a 500 season in 10 years. 500. I didn't say winning. I didn't talk about having a winning season. I didn't even talk about, playoffs or anything like, I didn't. Of course, I'm getting an email notification.
Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game.
There you go. Thank you, Jim. about to hit the clip, and somebody sends an email notification, and that went right over my button, so I had about a 3-second delay on playoffs. So, oh my gosh. Let's see here. Yeah, I'm done with the tanking mentality right now. I really am. Billy SBC, Pat's getting by on defensive play. May is no world beater. He's very efficient, I'll tell you that. I mean, he's getting hit a lot, but he's good. How good, we don't know. But we do know New England's facing very much a cupcake schedule, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later. Yep, Pats are very strong against the run. Yeah, they're allowing 79 rushing yards per game. That is number 1 in the NFL, and the next best team is Houston. They're at 90 yards per game. Think about that. 11 yards per game better than the second place team. That's how good it is. And that doesn't bode very well for our offense. So the Jets bring back Garrett Wilson too soon? They may have. Yeah, they very well may have. I'm looking at Garrett Wilson the way I would look at Jackson Dart if I was a Giants fan. When you think he's ready, give him another week. There's no point in rushing him back. None. Not at this point. Give these other kids a chance to show what they can do. Retire 80 already. I think I'm getting like different names. Retire. I don't recall seeing Retire 80 already. Retire 80. Do I know you just under another name? Yeah, but if not, hey, welcome aboard. I feel like I should know you. I'm just not used to seeing the name. Weird. If Fields looks like Fields, let's give Brady Cook a shot. Billy, my thought on this, I would let Brady Cook come in, but I would wait a few weeks. I don't want to put him in against New England or Baltimore on the road. Then after that, I believe is Atlanta. Atlanta is actually allowing the fewest passing yards per game in the NFL. They got a very good pass rush. And to be honest, I don't want to put Cook in until Garrett's ready to go. If you're going to put an undrafted free agent rookie, I want to give him every chance to succeed. I want his best weapons out there. Can I get excited if his starting receivers are, Tyler Johnson and, Josh Reynolds is hurt, but him and Alan Lazard, I'm not exactly inspired by that. So, yes, I'm open to giving him a chance, but not yet. I got to wait a few more weeks. I just do. It's Yeti. Hey, how you doing, man? Oh, cool. I got to remember that that's you. All right, fantastic. Let's see. And Parcells, probably best year as head coach. The Jets win 8-9, 8-8. Yep, 8-8. He corrected himself. His quarterbacks kept getting injured. Yep, that was it. That was it. Ray Lucas, it was Vinny, then Rick Meyer, then Ray Lucas. And the biggest mistake Parcells made that year, I've actually got his book, The Last Season, about that last year with the Jets. Of course, it didn't turn out to be the last season, but that's another story. He waited way, way, way too long to pull the plug on Rick Meyer and put in Ray Lucas. Harlan doesn't even want to take chances. He wants to shelve Garrett Wilson for the rest of the season. If you want to see what a quarterback can do, though, you need your best players. And again, this is not anything that requires surgery. It's rehab. I'd be surprised if he doesn't miss, again, the 3 to 4 weeks as expected. But I don't want to automatically shelve him. I don't want to automatically shut him down just yet. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Grandizer, Baba Booey to you and your wonderful viewers. Baba Booey to you as well, Grandizer. That's another New York Jets. First down. Yeah, believe me, on that first down, 20 minutes into the game, we were loud. Very, very loud. I was up in Norfolk with the Virginia Jets fans crowd. There were about 60 people watching that game. About 60 Jets fans. And I wore the Nick Mangold jersey. I had my white construction helmet on. It was a great time to see everybody. Absolutely. Had an amazing time. Had some great wings, drank a ton of iced tea, was not drinking. It's not an easy drive, guys. Raleigh to Norfolk and then back. It's just over 3 hours each way. So basically I did the 3-hour drive, was there from about 12:30 to about 4:15, and then drove the 3 hours back home. I was spent when I was done. Spent. Man, I popped a Celsius on the way home. I think I popped a Prime also. I mean, I was taking whatever I could take legally. Anyway. All right, let's go to the defense. Let's talk about this. And I think it's about time Steve Wilkes gets a little credit, just a little iota, a smidge of credit. He hasn't really had to have been blamed all that much lately. Now, They're facing a terrible Cleveland offense. I mean, Dylan Gabriel, my God, he's like Tim Tebow without the faith and the good looks. You know what I mean? And more bad tattoos. Because what did we really expect from this defense after trading Sauce and trading Quinnen and losing A.Z. Thomas midway through the game? Yet, the Jets allowed 278 yards, 120 through the air, 158 on the ground. They allowed a third down completion rate of 37.5. I'll take that. Now, the run game allowed a few runs to Quinshon Judkins. Dylan Gabriel was allowed to run a few times. But, oh my gosh, Gabriel's a terrible passer. When we broke down quarterbacks way back when, I had Gabriel rated, I think, around number 7 or 8 in this class. I did not like what I saw. You know, people called him the supercomputer. Like, he was so good at analyzing the defense. He could see it and all this stuff. Apparently, he had the brain we wish Justin Fields had. Okay, that's kind of what we were thinking about. But he was throwing ducks up there. Like when Dylan Gabriel throws a pass, it goes up and it's got hang time. Like it hangs there for about a good second before it starts to come down. It's like a dead duck on a hunting trip. Man, but we talked about a consistent pass rush. I said what I was looking for, one of the things I was looking for, I needed to see a consistent pass rush from his defensive line, and Will McDonald provided it. 4 sacks. JJ with another sack. Juwan Briggs with a sack. I want to talk about Juwan Briggs in a moment. Jamie Sherwood, he's gotten better by the week. He really has. He made a lot of big tackles in the run game. He looks far more confident than he did in September. And that's against a very, very good offensive line that Cleveland has. You know, Jack Conklin, Wyatt Teller, Ethan Posich, Joel Bitonio. They've got some good blockers on that offensive line that have been together for years. And the Jets beat up on them. In fact, the Jets recorded 26 quarterback pressures in Week 10. That's 8 more than in any other game in 2025. Standouts: Will McDonald, 7. Juwan Briggs. Let's give Juwan Briggs some love. That's a guy we don't talk about. 6 pass rushes and 16 pass rush snaps. He had a 90 PFF pass rush grade, 4th among all defensive linemen in Week 10. He looked good. Real good. And they're going to need a lot from him this week with Harrison Phillips a little bit banged up. Jermaine Johnson, 5 pressures. Career highs for both McDonald and Briggs, by the way. Now, a couple of things that we didn't like all that much. Tony Adams missed 3 tackles. I thought he had some good tackles, but still a little prone to taking those bad angles. Like, I don't want to see that anymore. But the Jets as a team had 9 missed tackles in the game. We've had games that were twice that high. That's an improvement. And more than anything, Malachi Corley took the loss, thank God. He had 2 runs for 32 yards, but no catches. So that was a little bit of a relief because the last thing I needed was Malachi Corley, scoring a touchdown and taking the ball actually into the end zone at MetLife Stadium for a change. Thankfully, we did not have to suffer that indignity. Yeti, they just opened an Anchor bar near me in Tucson. I didn't know you lived in Arizona. I love me some Arizona. Love Arizona. You're going there this weekend for your birthday. Happy early birthday. Pretty stoked. Hope it lives up to the hype. Yeah, so the Anchor Bar, for anybody who may not know, is where the Buffalo Wing in Buffalo, New York, was supposedly pioneered. I have never been to Buffalo myself. And, you talk to a bunch of different Buffalonians. You'll hear, these are the best wings. These are the best wings. These are the best wings. One of these days I'll head up there, though it'll probably be for Sabres Rangers is what it would probably be for. I don't know if I'm going up there for Jets Bills. At least in Buffalo, I'd be inside. But I'll definitely hit up a couple of wing joints and see what it's all about. But, yeah, Anchor's a big one. Duffy's is a big one in Buffalo. I think those are kind of the 2 big ones. But that's one of the cool things about Arizona because so many people retire there. They get all these places that are in other parts of the country, all these food places. Like from Chicago, you got Portillo's, you got Lou Malnati's for the pizza. And now you got the chicken wings from Buffalo going down there too. It's like a melting pot of just food heaven. You got to love it, man. When are they getting a Katz's Deli? They get a Katz's Deli down there. I'll move tomorrow. Oh, baby. What are we talking about? All right, Billy. Jets want to force a low-scoring game in the cold at night in Foxboro. I want a hardcore defensive struggle. I am for it. 13-10 that could go either way. If we can make that happen, I will be one happy Watsu K99. Yeah, give me a close, tight, competitive game. I am going to be very happy with that. Green Bean was saying, yeah, Grandizer reporting for Green Bean. By the way, I will be on with Green Bean tomorrow night during halftime. So during halftime, if you're not sure what to do after you're done taking a leak or getting another snack or popping another beer or popping another cocktail, check out Green Bean's channel. I'll be doing some trivia on his channel. I might be on with a few old friends, but it's going to feel like homecoming. And I got to tell you, it's going to be a good feeling. I haven't been on with him in about 3 years. So, but I'm glad to say that we're talking. We're in a good place, and yeah, I'm excited to go on with him, if only for a few minutes. So, yeah. So I will give that a little bit of a plug. Let's see, but saying that it changed the culture with the Jets might have helped Wilkes save his job. You know what? Let's see how the Jets defense does against New England and Baltimore, and to a lesser extent Atlanta, before we can say the defense is better. I'm not ready to go there yet, because again, Cleveland has, outside of the offensive line, what are you really worried about on that offense? Jerry Jeudy is a good receiver, but is he really a great number one receiver on a playoff contending team? To me, he's more of a number two. They have a good 1-2 punch at tight end with Njoku and Fannin, but the running backs don't really impress me. The wide receivers don't impress me after Jeudy, and Dylan Gabriel's just inept. So that's all I can tell you. Count on Shedeur Sanders playing within the next few weeks. I don't think there's any doubt about it. I agree. The culture is to play hard, start showing development. Can't wonder who else the Jets would have traded to get rid of, really get this goal of culture change. Some trades are addition by subtraction. It is possible. So, and we know Quinn wanted out, and I don't think Sauce really played the style of cornerback that Aaron Glenn and Steve Wilkes wanted. And again, it's not like they were actively shopping these players. Other teams came to the Jets saying, are you open to trading so-and-so? And when the offer was right, the Jets made a business decision. And I said last week, it was going to hurt short term, but the idea is it could be amazing long term. And I think it's completely possible. Yeah, a melting pot is right. Yeah, I was in Phoenix almost 2 years ago for Christmas. Yeah, had a really good time being back there. Yeah, we used to go there a lot. My family did when my parents were still together, and and we would go there. Certain places we like to stay at, certain places we like to go. Yeah, Bobby McGee's, which is now Bobby Q's. It's like a barbecue place, but Bobby McGee's had it was like a boat with a salad bar inside. Back when, salad bars were common and they were really, really cool before, people started to realize that germs exist, That was always a fun place. Rustler's Roost up in the mountains was a great sort of like a country theme bar. I would always have a burger, and I think it was the first time I ever tried rattlesnake on a random note. But he shouted me out a couple times. That's great. That's awesome. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm all about, it's always good to try to support each other, And if there's somebody who you're not necessarily a fan of, it's okay. Just don't listen. Don't talk about it. Just focus on the people that you want to promote, You learn a few things over the years. Yeah, there's no doubt. It was okay. It was okay. It was just, I could be a little bit opinionated, and some people had a little backlash for that. And Green Bean just had some issues with other issues with the channel, so he felt he needed to start over. He changed a few things, and part of it was I wasn't doing the trivia on the show anymore, and that's when I pretty much launched this. So it was never like a personal issue. It was just, a business thing. We've never had a personal issue, really. So, so I was never too worried about it. Adam, I want to say that what Green Bean has said, AG will do what his predecessor coaches won't do. Bench players regardless of who they are for bad performance. Completely. Yep. There's no doubt. I mean, Quincy Williams was only benched for a series, but it made a difference, and he came out with a fire lit up under his rear end. We saw the difference. Because some people said early on the year, Xavier Gibson got cut after the fumble, and people were like, well, he cut a returner. I mean, what does that prove? Because obviously he's not going to cut a player every time they make a mistake. If that was the case, you wouldn't have any players left. And there's certain players that you hold to a little bit of a different standard. If they're higher level players, they're going to get a little more leeway before you bench them or you cut them or anything, or trade or anything like that. But you have to know your players. You have to know what makes them tick. Some need to be yelled at. Some need more support. You have to know that about your players. You have to know what makes them tick. Discipline and coaching are not a one-size-fits-all situation. That's why the best coaches, they get to know their players, they figure them out, and they know how to motivate them. Like Bill Parcells would challenge Lawrence Taylor. He knows he needed it. But like a Phil McConkey, their returner, he wouldn't yell at him because he knew McConkey couldn't handle it. Just different things like that. And I think AG is learning that. I feel like all parties, Eddie says, made out well in the long run. Q's happy. Sauce is on a contender. Jets got great capital. Win, win, win. Took a minute to swallow. Yeah, I think the more that we as fans had a chance to process this, the happier most of us were, the vast majority, as opposed to those two little brats who now are wearing Sauce jerseys, Colt Sauce jerseys. Just ridiculous. That was ridiculous. I don't care how young they are. That's just lame. And really, I blame the father for getting them the jerseys. It's just lame. I just thought that was really, really lame. Do we know if Trey Brown will play tomorrow? I haven't heard anything about him. I'll check the injury report for you. I know that Ramondre Stevenson is out. I know Kayshon Boutte is out tomorrow. I didn't have that news when I did my preview video, so I do apologize about that. Stevenson out, Boutte out, Austin Hooper is out, Christian Ellis, the linebacker, is out. Questionable, Terrell Jennings, the running back, and Joshua Farmer, the defensive tackle. They're questionable. Trey Brown, I don't see Trey Brown anywhere on the injury report, dude. Yeah, so yeah, I'd say Trey Brown's in pretty good shape. Yeah. Oh, Trey Brown. Oh, the one that the guy the Jets just acquired. He's on the practice squad. Okay, I was thinking he was a Patriot. Okay, Trey Brown. Okay, yeah, he's on the practice squad, so I wouldn't count on it. Okay. Put it this way, there's a lot of people ranting out there. I don't know if mine would make a difference. Believe me, if I thought my rants could make a difference over the last 30 years with my teams, you'd see a lot more of them. Okay, let's talk special teams. We got to give some love to one particular person, and it's not a player. It's somebody that I think other people are starting to figure out. I saw Matt O'Leary give him some love. I saw Jake Asman give him some love, and it's our special teams coordinator. You know what time it is. Chris Banjo.
Storybox.
I hear that. I just want to turn on hee-haw. Like, I'm picking and I'm grinning. So, okay. I mean, come on. How do you hear that music and not just have a little bit of a smile on your face? If you're not tapping your foot or clapping a little bit, I mean, what are we talking about, right? That's right. This is the only Jet show in the world where you're getting banjo content right here, baby, at New York Sports WickerMedia. All right, but seriously, Austin McNamara, Nick Folk, Isaiah Williams, Kene Nwangwu, take a bow, all of you. Also, guys like Quantez Stiggers, Andrew Beck, the ones who are left unsaid, who throw out the blocks. Stone Smart, credit to him as well. Couple of numbers. The Jets became the first team with a punt, kick, return touchdown on consecutive kicks since the Titans in 2012. The first team since the Ravens in 2017 to have a punt return touchdown and kick return touchdown in the same game. And they're the first team since Kansas City in 2013 to have a kickoff return touchdown and a punt return touchdown in the first quarter. Crazy. And the Jets hadn't done this, a kickoff touchdown and a punt return touchdown the same game, in 66 years. 66 years. Oh my gosh. I don't even know if Namath was on the team back then. That's crazy. But Kene Nwangwu takes it 99 yards to the house. Isaiah Williams, 74 yards. 74. You can't tell me it's coincidence. It is not. It can't be coincidence. 74 yards on a punt. And I got to say it again. So many of us, including me, we're ready to give up on Isaiah Williams. We're ready for him to be cut. But the coaching staff saw something in him, or Darren Muji saw something in him, and they said, we can coach this kid. He's got talent. And he has played really well. It's to the point he's actually being used as wide receiver sometimes. And it's very, very encouraging to see players develop under this regime, because how often did we talk about this under the Robert Saleh regime? how players were not getting better. If anything, they were regressing. The tight end room, perfect example of it. How many players legitimately got better under Robert Saleh? Not many. I could point to at least half a dozen players who are clearly getting better over the course of the season. But that's got to be something that we have to be happy about. And Kene Nwangwu, guys, we've been talking about this kid for months, for so long. We were Kene Nwangwu fans at this channel, on this show. I'm going to give you some numbers about how just freaking good this guy is. He has returned 11 kicks for the Jets. He scored 2 touchdowns. He is the current active NFL leader in kick return touchdowns with 5. By the way, 5 touchdowns, that's the same number as Devin Hester had in his whole career. His whole career. Hall of Famer, in my mind, the best I ever saw do it was Devin Hester. 5 kickoff return touchdowns in his career. Kene Nwangwu's equaled him. And Hester did it on 7, and Kenny did it on 79 attempts. So here's the thing. Kenny has 5 touchdowns on 79 kickoff return attempts for his career. So basically, he's scoring a touchdown on 1 out of 16 kickoff returns. That's crazy. There is only one player in the history of the NFL with a better percentage, with over 50 attempts. Okay? So basically, Kenny's scoring on 20% of his kickoff returns. 79 attempts. The only player better than that is Gale Sayers. One of the greatest football players maybe there ever was. Didn't have as long of a career. Basically, he was Sandy Koufax. Didn't have the longest career, but a dynamic running back, an amazing returner. Kene Nwangwu is quietly one of the best return players of this generation. And I'll say this, he's 27 years old. He's a UFA after this season. Let's talk contract right now. The only issue is the injuries. He has an issue with injuries. And remember, Kene got hurt week 1 in that game against Pittsburgh. And if he doesn't get hurt, Xavier Gibson is not there in the backfield, fumbling that return where Pittsburgh recovered, scored the touchdown, and the Jets never really recovered. If Kenne's back there, who knows? Maybe the Jets win that game. And if the Jets win that game against Pittsburgh, who knows how much differently this season is turning out. Because when your offense stinks, when your quarterback is a complete joke, and your defense has question marks, when the special teams is about the most potent part of your attack, what does that say? Except the Jets special teams are the best in the NFL. Austin McNamara, oh my gosh, 88.7 PFF grade, second among all punters. And he's got twice as many punters as Daniel Whelan of the Green Bay Packers. He's in first place, by the way. McNamara has an average hang time of 4.76 seconds. That's number 1. Only 36% of his punts have been returned. That's third best among qualifiers. He's landed 14 punts inside the 20, only 2 touchbacks. Only 2. He leads the NFL with 8 downed punts and has forced 13 fair catches. He's under contract for next year. Why not extend him too? I want to do like a Thomas Morstead, Greg Zuerlein package. I want to see that both players on the same day sign contracts. Why not? We got the cap space. You know what? Pay them. They're not going to ask for the craziest amount of money. Why not? So, man, I am just super encouraged about special teams. And you know what? Good as Chris Banjo is, you usually can find pretty good replacements if you need to. But man, I can't remember the last time the Jets were this good at all 4 of those positions. Kick return, punt return, punter, and kicker. Man, Mike Westhoff must be smiling down in his home in Florida for sure. Because Chris Banjo was one of his guys. And he knows he recommended a great coach to the New York Jets. All right. Let's get into our snap counts. All right. So what we're going to do, we're going to talk about the snap counts in Cleveland compared to the last game against Cincinnati. First of all, offense, 49 snaps on offense. That was it. Down 23 snaps from the prior week. So the offense was barely even on the field. But again, when you have 2 return touchdowns and you have quite a few 3 and outs, this can happen. Justin Fields played the whole game, much to many Jet fans' chagrin. Breece Hall, 35 snaps, down only 5 from the previous game. Isaiah Davis, 14 snaps, down 19. Andrew Beck actually saw an uptick, had 9 snaps. He's being used a little bit more as of late, and I like that. When you need a run game, you know what? you put an extra tight end in, you put your fullback in, and Andrew Beck can do that. Wide receiver, how about this? Arian Smith had the most snaps of any receiver, up 3 reps. Tyler Johnson, only 31, down 25. Isaiah Williams played 21 snaps. Garrett played 19 before he went out. Of course, he did not play the prior week. John Mechie only saw 8 snaps in this game, but he had 2 touches. Brandon Smith had played the prior game. He did not play in this game. And Alan Lazard was inactive for this game as well. Tight end, Mason Taylor played 38 snaps. I'm actually surprised there were 11 snaps where he wasn't even on the field. But Jeremy Ruckert played 26. Stone Smart played 2 snaps. And Jelani Woods did not play this week after playing 1 snap against Cincinnati. I would like to see a little bit more Jelani Woods. I'm not going to kid you guys. I would like to see him a little bit more. Offensive line, pretty straightforward. Everybody played 49 snaps, save for Max Mitchell, who played 9 snaps. When the Jets bring in they like to bring in that 6th offensive lineman as opposed to a 3rd tight end. So that's what they're doing. And Mitchell does seem to be playing pretty well in limited doses. So, hey, you know what? We'll take it. We'll roll with it. Let's go over to defense. Now, on the defensive line, up 14 snaps from 59 against Cincinnati to 73 against Cleveland. Jermaine Johnson, 63 snaps, up 9. Will McDonald, 52, up 10. I like that he's playing a lot more. Michael Clemens played 43 snaps. Braden McGregor played 10, but I thought he made a pretty good difference in that game. So the Jets used only 4 edge players. That was it. Defensive tackle, okay, this was pretty interesting. How did the Jets use their defensive tackles with Quinnen Williams gone? Well, Harrison Phillips got the most snaps with 43, up 8. Juwan Briggs played a lot more, 30 snaps, up 17. And I think he's going to play even more than that on Thursday night. Jay Tufele was back in the lineup, played 30 snaps, the same as Briggs. Mozzie Smith, I got to be honest with you, I barely even noticed he was on the field. I got to be like right now, if you ask me what number is Mozzie Smith, I wouldn't even know. That's how invisible he was to me. But from what I saw on the reviews, his running defense grade was very, very bad. Pass rush a little bit better, but, you know, he needs some coaching. He needs some development. There's no question about it. And Peyton Page, called up from the practice squad for this game, had only 2 snaps in this game. Linebacker Jamian Sherwood played 73, played the whole game. Quincy Williams, after missing the beginning of the game, played 52 snaps as he came back from injury. Michael Walker, 21 snaps. He was playing the snaps in Quincy Williams' place. So once Walker went out, Williams came in. And Kiko Malagoa did not play as he was injured. So that's what we're looking at there. So really the Jets were going 4-2-5 pretty much the whole game here. And then at cornerback, you have Brandon Stevens playing 73 snaps, as we would expect. A.Z. Thomas played only 25 before he was the victim of friendly fire from his teammate. And unfortunately, he left the game. We already know he is out. Hopefully he's back for the Baltimore game. And then Jarvis Brownlee. So I was a little bit – I didn't really like the choice to move Jarvis Brownlee outside. Brownlee is a slot corner, plain and simple. They tried doing it. I don't think it worked very well. Brownlee, I thought, really struggled in this game. Had a penalty, dropped an interception. But you know what? Let's give Brownlee credit. He admitted as much on social media. I got to be better. I'll make it up to you guys. I respect that. I respect him taking accountability. But again, I think he was put in a position that didn't work for him. So what the Jets tried to do was put him outside, put Isaiah Oliver in at the slot corner spot. He played 52 snaps. And this is bothering me. Quantez Stiggers only had 3 snaps. Can we play Quantez Stiggers outside, please? I know he's a very valuable contributor on special teams, but you know what? I want to give him a chance outside. I mean, come on. If you ask me, do you want Brownlee outside and Oliver inside, or Oliver inside and Stiggers out, or Brownlee inside and Stiggers outside? I'm sorry, Isaiah Oliver, but you know what? You're either playing safety or you're going on the bench. Hey, how about this? At safety, give me Malachi Moore and Isaiah Oliver as starters. And then use Stiggers outside, Brownlee in the slot, and Stevens as your other starter. That's what I would do. That's what I would do. That's what I'm feeling at this point. But Malachi Moore played the whole game. Tony Adams played the whole game as well, now that Andre Sisco is out for the season. And Dean Clark, who was called up from the practice squad, I think he's actually now on the 53-man roster. He got 5 snaps as well. So, yeah, let's watch what the Jets do with the secondary. Who's playing outside corner on Thursday night across from Brandon Stevens? Going to be a very interesting decision when you got to defend the likes of Stephon Diggs. Okay. Swig of water for the working man and woman. Here we go. I go fast and I go loud. What can I tell you guys? All right, there we go. So let's get that out of there. All right. Yeah, Harlan is happy to see that Dean Clark played. Hey, put it this way. If you don't notice a player sometimes in that kind of a position, that's usually a good sign. So I was good with it. All right, let's do what are we going to do next? I think I think I know what we're going to do. All right. Let's pull up Tankathon. Here we go. And I'm using this photo in particular because this is a shot of the Virginia Jets fans group. As a matter of fact, let's blow it up a little bit. Let's make it just a little bit bigger. That is from Sunday. This is the entire Virginia Jets fans group who came out to watch the game. You can see me basically to your right. I've got the white helmet on about halfway back. And there, we've all got the twos up. It's not a Woodstock rally. Oh, no. That's our second win, baby. And yes, that is a Steelers fan towards the front row. But it is pretty impressive to see this many people out there to watch a team that is, not the best team in the world. So, but I wanted to share that photo with you guys. All right, so let's pull up Tankathon. There we go. Actually, I'm going to drop myself down the corner there. There we go. Yeah, that's better. So you get the logo. Okay, so here is the current standings on Tankathon. Tennessee ahead of the pack at 1-8. So they're a full game ahead of the Jets. And then we got New Orleans. We have 5 teams with 2 wins. New Orleans, the Giants, then Cleveland, the Jets, the Raiders. And then after that at 3-7, you've got Miami and Washington. Note, Cincinnati, Atlanta, and Arizona are tied at 3-6. And Atlanta's first round pick will go to the Rams. Okay, now a couple of things. Let's look at the strength of schedule. So the Jets have an SOS of 503. So what we want is these teams having a higher or a harder strength of schedule than the Jets. So Tennessee, definitely 569. It's been a much harder strength of schedule than what the Jets have had. New Orleans, very, very close, 497. They're a little bit ahead. The Giants, 038 harder. Although the Giants, we know, are not going to be drafting a quarterback. Cleveland's a bit of a concern. It could be a situation where Cleveland will be finishing ahead of the Jets and drafting a quarterback. Still certainly a long way to go. But if these two teams finish tied, there's a good chance Cleveland will be ahead of the Jets. So Cleveland's one of those teams you want to be watching every week and you want to be rooting for every week. And then the Raiders, 556. You know what? When you've got the Chiefs and you've got the Chargers and you've got the Broncos in your division, that SOS is going to be pretty high. And then after that, Miami's at 500, so they're pretty much right there with the Jets. Washington, 516. I can't imagine that they're going to finish tied with the Jets or a worse record than the Jets. So that's what we're looking at there. Okay, now let's get into the FPI, the Football Pro Index. So again, this comes from ESPN, and they project the draft order by simulating the remainder of the season 10,000 times. Now, last week, I told you we were ranked 4th. We were projected to have the 4th draft pick going into this draft. So where are we now? We have actually, as Google Lens wants to mess with me. Now let's get rid of that. There we go. Okay, we have actually moved up to 3rd, 4th to 3rd. So despite winning, ESPN projects us to have a better draft spot than we did last week when we had 1 win. So let's compare the numbers. Last week, we had a projected draft spot of 4.4. Now the average draft position is 4.5. And most of these numbers have dipped ever so slightly. Chance to earn the number 1 pick went from 14.8 to 13.3. Chance to earn a top 5 pick went from 70.8 to 69.2%. Top 10 pick, 96.3 to 95.7. So now I'm going to basically compare where we are compared to the teams around us. So right now, Tennessee is the projected number 1 team. Their average draft position is 2.9. Cleveland is 3.4. We're at 4.5. New Orleans is 4th at 5.0. Okay, and then as far as the number 1 pick goes, they're giving Tennessee a 36.6% chance to get the number 1 spot. Cleveland, 26.9. Then you go to us all the way down at 13.6. That's a bit of a drop. And then New Orleans at 9.7. So we're in 3rd right now. And getting past Tennessee and Cleveland is going to be a little bit difficult. But remember, Tennessee's got a bunch of bad teams remaining on their schedule. As a matter of fact, I'm just going to give you let's give you the Titans schedule real quick, just because they are a team that is well ahead, that is a full game ahead of the Jets. So they got Houston at home, Seattle at home. Ugh, those don't look very good for them to win. But then you have Jacksonville at home, at Cleveland, at San Francisco, home against Kansas City, home against New Orleans, and at Jacksonville. So you got 2 games against Jacksonville, at Cleveland, home against New Orleans. That Tennessee-New Orleans game is week 17. That will be a must-watch. Tennessee, New Orleans. So the fact that they're playing that's awesome. Tennessee and Cleveland are playing each other too. These teams are all playing each other. Nobody knows how this is going to turn out. So who knows? Week to week, this whole thing might be flipped upside down. It's exciting in a very morbid way. You know what I'm saying? All right. Then I also like to give you the draft power rankings. These come from Tankathon. What that does is it looks at every team's draft pick. It uses the old point value system, and then it basically gives you a power ranking. Who has the most valuable draft? Who has the most to work with their draft? So despite the Jets winning and dropping down to 5th in the standings, they dropped from 3rd to 5th. The Jets are still projected to have the 2nd most valuable draft, only behind Cleveland, and then not by much. Then you've got Tennessee, a good distance back. Then Vegas, Pittsburgh, New Orleans, Miami, Houston, all kind of bunched up. Then you drop a little bit to the Rams, then Philly, then Baltimore, and then the Giants. All right, so New York Jets super fan, if we tie Cleveland at the end of the year, what's the second tiebreaker? So if you have the same record, the first tiebreaker is always strength of schedule. Always. So, yeah. So after that, yeah, I think after that it might be head-to-head, but it's usually pretty unlikely that you're going to wind up with the same strength of schedule situation, especially if you're not in the same division. So it goes, so I think it goes head-to-head. Yeah, I'm looking the rest of this up. Okay, if the teams have the same strength of schedule, division or conference tiebreakers are applied. Okay, so then you go head-to-head. If applicable, then 1 loss tie percentage, common games minimum 4. But realistically, most of the time, strength of schedule is enough to break this. And Cleveland is a good deal ahead on the strength of schedule. Again, Cleveland's at 471. We're at 503. Cleveland is the team that's going to be hardest for us to catch with their SOS, because the AFC North right now is to say the least mediocre. Cincinnati, we know what they are. Pittsburgh's struggled. And Baltimore got off to a terrible start, trying to make it better, but it's going to be tough. So you want to root for some random teams, root for some of those AFC North teams to win some games. Root for Cincinnati, root for Pittsburgh, root for Baltimore, help get that Cleveland SOS a little bit higher. That's pretty much what you got to be doing. So that's kind of what we're talking about. Okay, let's get, we're going to go ahead and get out of there. Wow, 6:58 already. Man, we're flying tonight. Okay. All right, so let's do a little bit of Jets news here. We're going to be looking forward. Injury updates. Unfortunately, I don't have Rich Cimini here to give us the injury report. I'll just give you a couple of things that we do know. AZT is in concussion protocol. He is out for this game. Garrett Wilson will not be playing in this game either. Will McDonald limited in practice all week with a quad injury. He better be good to go. I want him there lining across Will Campbell, who's been prone to giving up some pressures. We have to get pressure on the outside against Moses and Campbell. We have to do that if we're going to have a chance to win this game. If we can't get pressure on Drake May, it's game, set, match. So I will point those things out. All right. So I think that's pretty much all I'm gonna say. As far as news goes, that's about all we really have there. All right, so we're going to go ahead and do a little game preview right now. So typically what we do is we give you 5 things to know about the opposing team. I'm going to do that, but I'm also going to give you my 5 bold predictions and score prediction as well. And at that point, we'll do the trivia. I am going to do a quick likes check right here on my phone. So again, if you haven't hit that thumbs up, please do that. If you want to spin the wheel, if you want the show to go a little bit longer, And then, go ahead and hit that thumbs up. And if we get 15, we will spin the wheel. All right. Looks like we're a little bit short right now, but I will keep watch on that. All right. So let's start with 5 things. Actually, you know what? This is a special night. I'm going to give you 6 things to know about New England. All right. It just hurts to see Mike Vrabel there. He could have been ours. It could have happened. All right. First thing to know, Stephon Diggs has been better than I think anybody could have expected. Now he's got 50 catches for 554 yards and 3 touchdowns. Respectable numbers. But where he's really made a difference is the leadership. He has had this way of bringing out the best in his teammates. When New England beat Tampa Bay on Sunday, Trevion Henderson credited Diggs for making a speech at halftime that really riled the team up. And Henderson had touchdown runs of 55 and 69 yards in the second half. Diggs also recovered the game-sealing onside kick. Number 2, Drake May is third in both passing yards and passing touchdowns. He doesn't have the greatest weapons in the world necessarily, but he has a lot of effective ones, and he knows how to use them. But on the other hand, number 3, the Patriots have allowed 35 sacks, as Billy pointed out earlier. That is second most in the NFL. The only team that's allowed more is Tennessee. And by the way, of those 35 sacks, 12 of them came in weeks 8 and 9, came very, very recently. So that offensive line has been struggling with pass protection. And again, that's why I say Will and JJ have to make an impact. Number 4, a lot of people hype up the Patriots' run defense. Well, we'll talk about the run defense. As I've said, they have allowed 79 rushing yards per game. The next best is Houston at 90. But number 5, the red zone defense has been bad, really bad. The Patriots have the worst red zone defense in the NFL. They're giving up touchdowns on 73% of opponents' trips inside their 20-yard line. Now, that begs the question, with the Jets offense, are they capable of actually getting inside the red zone? Great question. We're going to find out Thursday night. But no, when the offense gets in the red zone, 3 out of 4 times the opponent scores a touchdown. And number 6, it's been said, but I'm going to get more specific. The Patriots have had far and away the easiest schedule in the NFL. Their combined opponent's winning percentage, and keep in mind, they haven't even played the Jets yet, is .361. The next easiest strength of schedule after the Patriots is Buffalo, .449. And think about this. The Patriots still have to play the Jets twice, the Giants at home, the Bengals on the road, Miami at home. This is as cupcake a schedule as I've ever seen any team have. So, hey, credit. They beat Buffalo in a game where Buffalo wasn't really ready to play. We've seen Buffalo is very flawed, and they did beat Tampa Bay on the road. That was a pretty impressive victory, but they got a long way to go. You know, can Drake May take a team like in the cold, put them on his shoulders, and lead them to victory? There's a lot of questions still to be answered about this New England team. I just don't know if this is going to be the week where they truly get tested. All right, let's make our 5 bold predictions for this game. Actually, before we do that, I'm going to give you the 5 bold predictions I made for the Cleveland game, and let's see how I did. I said the Jets would get under 200 yards of offense. I was right, 169. I said Myles Garrett would get 2.5 sacks. He only got 1. I said Malachi Corley would make a catch, and it would be a touchdown or an explosive play. Didn't happen. He had 2 runs for 32 yards. I said the Jets would get that interception on defense. No. I said Nick Folk would kick 3 field goals, and close. He went 2 for 2. And my score prediction was Browns 20, Jets 16. Well, you know what? I got the 20 exactly right. And if you take out the 2 Jets special teams touchdowns, it's 13 points. That's only 3 points off, so it's pretty close. All right, 5 bold predictions for this game. Number 1, Tyrod Taylor comes in at halftime. We are yet to see Justin Fields play well against a legitimately good defense. The only defenses he's beat up on were Cincinnati and Pittsburgh, and both stink. Number 2, the Jets get 4 first downs or fewer in the first half. I think it's going to be very challenging for this offense to get its legs going against that very potent New England run defense. They're going to do everything they can to take Breece Hall out of this game. They're going to dare Justin Fields to beat them with his arm. And when you don't have Garrett Wilson on the field, that is a tall, tall order. Number 3, I'm predicting at least 7 combined sacks. We just talked about how Drake May gets hit a lot, and we know very well how long Justin Fields likes to hold the ball. I can see the defense is shining in this game. I'm going to say 7 sacks or more. Number 4, I'm going to predict, like I did last week, the Jets get an interception on defense. Drake May's thrown only 5 picks, but I'm going to say it's just something goofy is going to happen, a tip ball, something like that. It might be a defensive lineman who gets the interception. It might be Jermaine Johnson. It might be Jamian Sherwood. It might be a goofy play like that, but I say the Jets get that interception. And damn it, I'm rolling with this prediction until it happens. At number 5, negative, I'm going to say Nick Folk misses his first kick of the season. He is perfect so far. I think this is going to be one of those nights where things just don't go right for the Jets. I don't have a good feeling about it. I can see the Jets hanging in there for a half. I'll go that far. But ultimately, I think the Patriots pull away the longer the game goes. My score prediction is going to be Patriots 27, Jets 10. I just don't think the Jets are going to be moving the ball. Taylor might throw one long bomb for a touchdown, but outside of that, Patriots are going to have some short fields to work with, and I just don't think it's going to be a fun game. It's going to be one of those games where the score might be close early on, but you never truly feel like the Jets are going to win the game. So count on this being a little bit of a frustrating night, but then again, that tends to be how most of our games go. Okay. All right, guys. Well, I'll tell you what. I think it's about that time. I think it's time to do what we do every week. It's something that we do every week on the channel. Something I'm going to be doing a little bit on Green Bean Show tomorrow night at halftime. Every week, you know what happens. I head down into the labyrinth of Jets knowledge. I bust open the books. I dust off the Encyclopedia Britannica. I pull up all the websites on the Jets dark web, and I, Watch2K99, challenge you, the most loyal fans of the most loyal freaking fan base in the NFL. Just how much do you know about your New York Jets? So if you are ready, and I know you're ready, you better be ready. Let's play Jets Trivia. Here we go. It is that time. And so you know the deal. Every week I try to make the question as topical as I can. So tonight will be a Jets versus Patriots trivia question. I got a few more of those ready to go for tomorrow night. So I'm going to put 5 minutes on my clock. And if you think you know the answer or answers, then pop them right down there in the chat. I'll let you know how we're doing. And let's see if we can get the trivia question right. So tonight's question, it goes a little something like this. Since 1970, basically since the merger, name there are several in the 60s. I'm not doing that to you. Name the 2 quarterbacks who have played for both the Jets and the Patriots. Actually, you know what? I've got an idea on this. I know there's 2, but I think there might be a third now that I'm thinking about it. A name literally came to mind. It might actually be 3. I can't believe this just hit me literally as I was asking this question. Okay, so there are actually technically 3 quarterbacks, but only 2 actually play quarterback. There was one guy that we think of as a quarterback but played special. I'm just going to give that away. Ray Lucas. If you're thinking about Ray Lucas, he did play for the Patriots in '96, but he never played quarterback. So yeah, so that is actually not going to be a correct answer. I see Tim Tebow. Now, Tim Tebow, that's a little bit different. So Tim Tebow was invited to camp with the Patriots, but I don't believe he actually made the team. But I will double check it. Yeah, so Tebow was cut in training camp. He was never actually a player for them. Yeah, Grandizer mentioned Ray Lucas. Harlan, I love that you're going to the 60s, but I'm going 70s. I wanted to be fair here. Yeti comes in with Tony Eason. Is it Tony Eason? That is correct. Tony Eason played in the Super Bowl for the Patriots when they got their ass whooped by the Bears. And Eason also played for the Jets a little bit. Hank G with Ryan Fitzpatrick. See, you're throwing out names here, and all of a sudden you're making me think. Because it's like, I know I looked this up. I could actually throw passes, but now that you're mentioning it, I feel the need to double check every answer. All right. So obviously Fitzy played 2 seasons for the Jets. I don't think he ever played for New England. No, Fitzy was never a Patriot. So good try there, but all right. Yeah, I'm going to say Ray Lucas since he went to the Jets with Parcells. Yep, that's exactly right, but he never played quarterback. He was more of a special teams player. So we're talking about quarterback. So there's some tricky answers like Tebow, like Lucas, but yeah, you had to actually throw a pass. So Tony Eason is one, and I know you know the other one. All right, we got 2.5 minutes to go on the clock. Yeah, but you guys came out flying with some answers. I appreciate that. And I got to be honest, I think you all got the hard one with Tony Eason. I think the other one's easier, to be honest with you. All right, about 2 minutes to go, and then I think, then we're going to call it a night. Yeah, the Knicks are on and the Rangers are on. So I'll probably be checking both games. I firmly expect I hope one of them wins. Yeah, the Knicks are playing the Magic and the Rangers are playing the Lightning. So we got a little New York, North Florida action going on tonight. But still better than Miami. I got to say this on a side note. I always thought Boston was the sports city I hate the most. It might be Miami. I might hate Miami more than any sports city. Think the Marlins always screw with the Mets. They always kill them at the end of the season, right? Jets, Dolphins, the spike game, all those different, and the Jets went forever without beating Miami. The Knicks have had their hearts broken by the Heat a couple of times in the as of late. And then Rangers, Panthers. Panthers beat the Rangers in the Eastern Conference Finals. So I got the special level of hate going on right now for Miami. They're about up there with Boston. So 1 minute left, guys. All right, we have any answers left? Since 1970, name the two quarterbacks who played quarterback for the Jets and Patriots. Tony Eason was one. Who's the other one? Again, had to actually throw a pass. By the way, Tony Eason played 18 games with the Jets and 37 with the Patriots. $30 seconds, guys. Come on. I know you can get it. I know you can get it. And Yeti comes in last minute with Vinny Testaverde. Is it Vinny Testaverde? It sure is. Vinny Testaverde played 65 games with the Jets. At the end of his career, played 3 games with New England. So there you go. Tony and Vinny. So you can't get much more mafia than this. Tony and Vinny and Tony. Yeah. If only we had like Frank Reich in here, we'd have Vinny, Tony, and Frank. We could run an episode of The Sopranos or something with that. But yeah, Vinny and Tony. Yeah, Mike White, Cliff Kingsbury. Yeah, it was Vinny. So yeah, with about 15 seconds, you guys got it right. So this is a victory. So what can I say except there we go. I almost hit the wrong thing with The Price is Right. So just one more time, just for the record. Good job, guys. All right. Fantastic. All right. That's going to bring an end to our show tonight. Everybody, I want to say this. Thanks, as always, for hanging out with me on Wednesday. The show is a whole lot more fun when you are here and when you're engaging and, making your thoughts be known. It's awesome. I definitely appreciate it. So catch me tomorrow on Green Bean's channel at halftime. I'll be doing trivia. I'll probably be in my car or in my car doing the questions. So we'll see how it goes. But everybody, the next question Grandizer asks is, what's for dinner? I actually already ate before the show, so I did some of my leftover pork roast. I had like a 7-pound pork shoulder, so I roasted that with some potatoes, some carrots, some onions, a whole bunch of garlic. I did that about a week ago, so it was leftovers, and took some of that down. Had a little pan gravy, a little parsley gravy, like you'd have a turkey gravy for Thanksgiving. Made a little gravy afterwards with the pork drippings and just the little flour, pouring some homemade chicken stock and a lot of fresh parsley. So you serve a little gravy on the vegetables and on the pork. Low and slow, 6 hours, 300 degrees, baby. That's right. Salt, pepper, paprika, dried rosemary on that pork shoulder, boneless, tied up, roasted it for 6 hours. Let the vegetables roast for the last 3 hours, right under the pork. So all those pork drippings just get on the vegetables. Delicious, even left over. And we've had some cold weather down here in North Carolina. Like we've been in the 40s as of late. No snow, but we've been in the 40s. And by the weekend, we'll be back up to the 70s. So on a cold night like that, you want something nice and hearty, and that pork roast, I made it about half a dozen times now, and it's definitely a go-to recipe. I'll be honest, last Monday I actually made it for a girl, and she seemed to approve. So, hey, what can I say? The winner gets a virtual hug from Adam. Oh, yeah, there you go. I got you right there. All right, see you at halftime. You got it, David. All right, looking forward to it. Everybody, I say this again. Thank you. Have a great rest of your night. Do your best to enjoy the game tomorrow. Don't let the Jets ruin your life. And I will see you all right back here with more content from you know where. The Wicker Chair. Have a good night, everybody.